Hey guys, it's Coach Oscar here. Um, Finally back making another video. But before I go into it, I just want to make sure to let you guys know that um, we miss you guys and we can't wait for school to start back up again. Um, and it's we're almost there. I mean, we just gotta push a little bit more and we'll get out of this. Now, I want to do something different for this video. Instead of doing a physical activity, I'm thinking I can read a book to you guys. And I know what some of you are thinking, it's a book, it's, you want to play video games and watch TV and all this other stuff, but I don't know, I think you guys will like this one. It's The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. It's a really fun book, and it's got a lot of really important messages that it tries to convey. And I think you guys will like it. So let's just start up. I will be reading. If the chapter is small enough, I will try to read the entire chapter. However, for the sake of time, we'll see how long I read. Alright, Chapter 1. An Unexpected Party. In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down on or to eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. It had a perfectly round door like a porthole, painted green with a shiny yellow brass knob in the exact middle. The door opened onto a tube-shaped hall like a tunnel. A very comfortable tunnel without smoke, with paneled walls and floors tiled and carpeted, provided with polished chairs and lots of pegs for hats and coats. This hobbit was fond of visitors. The tunnel wound on and on, going fairly but not quite straight into the side of the hill. The hill, as the people for many miles around called it, and many little round doors opened up out of it. First one on the side and then another. No going upstairs for the hobbit. Bedrooms, bathrooms, cellars, pantries, lots of these. Wardrobes. He had whole rooms devoted to clothes. Kitchens, dining rooms, all were on the same floor, and indeed on the same passage. The best rooms were all on the left-hand side going in, for these were the only ones to have windows, deep-set, round windows looking over his garden, and meadows beyond, sloping down to the river. This hobbit was a very well-to-do hobbit, and his name was Baggins. The Bagginses had lived in the neighborhood of the hill for time out of mind, and people considered them very respectable, not only because most of them were rich, but also because they never had any adventures or did anything unexpected. You could tell what a Baggins would say on any question without the bother of asking him. This is a story of how a Baggins had an adventure and found himself doing and saying things altogether unexpected. He may have lost the neighbor's respect, but he gained, well, you'll see whether he gained anything in the end. The mother of our particular hobbit. What is a hobbit? I suppose hobbits need some description nowadays, since they have become rare and shy of the big people, as they call us. They are, or were, a little people about half our height, and smaller than the bearded dwarves. Hobbits have no beards. There is little or no magic about them, except the ordinary, everyday sort, which helps them to disappear quietly and quickly when large, stupid folk like you and me come blundering along, making a noise like elephants, which they can hear a mile off. They are inclined to be fat in the stomach. They dress in bright colors, chiefly green and yellow, wear no shoes because their feet naturally grow a thick, leathery sole, and thick brown hair like the stuff on their heads, which is curly. They have long, clever brown fingers, good-natured faces, and laugh deep, fruity laughs, especially after dinner, which they have twice a day when they can get it. Now you know enough about to go on. As I was saying, the mother of this hobbit, Bilbo Baggins, that is, was the famous Belladonna Took, one of 3 remarkable daughters of the Old Took, head of the hobbits who lived across the water, the small river that ran at the foot of the hill. It was often said in other families that long ago one of the Took ancestors must have taken a fairy wife, That, of course, was absurd, but certainly there was a little something not entirely Hobbit-like about them. And once in a while, members of the Took clan would go and have adventures. They discreetly disappeared, and the family hushed it up. But the fact remained that the Took were not as respectable as the Bagginses, though they were undoubtedly richer. Not that Belladonna Took ever had any adventures after she became Mrs. Bungo Baggins. Bungo was Bilbo's father. Built the most luxurious hobbit hole for her, and partly with her money. That was to be found either under the hill or over the hill or across the water, and there they remained to the end of their days. Still, it is probable that Bilbo, her only son, although he looked and behaved exactly like a second edition of his solid and comfortable father, got something a bit queer in his makeup from the Took side. Something that only waited for a chance to come out. The chance never arrived, until Bilbo was grown up, and about 50 years or so, and living in the beautiful hobbit hole built by his father, which I have just described for you, until he had in fact apparently settled down immovably. By some curious chance one morning, long ago in the quiet of the world, when there was less noise and more green, and the hobbits were still numerous and prosperous, Bilbo Baggins stood at his door, after breakfast, smoking an enormous long wooden pipe that reached down nearly to his woolly toes, neatly brushed. Gandalf came by. Gandalf! If you had ever heard only a quarter of what I had heard about him, and I have only heard very little of all there is to hear, you would be prepared for any sort of remarkable tale. Tales and adventures sprouted up all over the place, wherever he went, in the most extraordinary fashion. He had not been down that way under the hill for ages, and not since his old friend the old Took died. In fact, and the hobbits had almost forgotten what he looked like. He had been over the hill and across the water on business of his own since they were all small hobbit boys and hobbit girls. All that the unsuspecting Bilbo saw that morning was an old man with a staff. He had a tall pointed blue hat, a long gray cloak, a silver scarf over which his long white beard hung down below his waist, and immense black boots. "Good morning," said Bilbo, and he meant it. The sun was shining and the grass was very green, but Gandalf looked at him from under his long bushy eyebrows that stuck out further than the brim of his shady hat. "What do you mean?" he said. "Do you wish me a good morning, or do you... Oh, I messed that up. Do you wish me a good morning, or mean that it is a good morning whether I want it or not? Or that you feel good on this particular morning? Or that this is a morning to be good on?" "All of them at once," said Bilbo. "And a very fine morning..." "And a very fine morning it is. Sit down and have a full of mine. There is no hurry. We all have the day before us." Then Bilbo sat down on a seat by his door, crossed his legs, and blew out a beautiful gray ring of smoke that sailed into the air without breaking and floated away over the hill. Okay, that's where I'm going to stop for today. It's just the beginning. I really do hope you guys enjoy this. This little break that we have. Again, I know it's a little bit difficult, but you have time to be with your families and whoever it may be that you have in your household. So just make sure that you be kind and express to them how much you care about them. I know we're gonna get through this, and I genuinely can't wait to see every one of you guys again when school starts back up. Thank you.